let's say the federal government, whether it's in Canada, and Canada is producing this type of money now too, or out of nothing, is they need $1 trillion. So what they do is they, go to the Bank of Canada or the Federal Reserve and they say, we need $1 trillion. And they go and they give bonds that have interest, and they go to the Bank of Canada or the Feds, and they just give them paper out of nowhere. They just produced it. And that gets introduced into the system. Now, it has to get deposited in banks and things like that for the transactions. So those banks are able to lend it out, and they have very few reserves. Since COVID's happened, there's no reserves. So by the time they keep on selling, like say depositing, lending it out, pausing, lending it out, that $1 trillion has turned into anywhere from 100 trillion to maybe $2 quadrillion now, because there's no restraint on it being lent out. So a practical example for your listeners is, let's imagine you go to the bank and you ask for a mortgage, and they give you $1 million mortgage. Well, guess what? That money didn't exist. They just have a license to print money, and that's fiat. So you end up taking your hard-earned income, your savings, because what is money? It's what I trade my life energy for. And here's something that's being created out of nothing. So that $1 million has been created out of nothing. And I put a lot of work and effort in saving this fiat cash. And then what happens is I have to pay the mortgage. Now, the problem with this entire system that should scare all of us is they're producing the $1 trillion, and they produce that $1 million for your home. However, they haven't produced the interest. So this is the biggest Ponzi scheme, because they have to keep on producing more and more of this fiat cash. The problem is, at one point, there's going to be no one being able to borrow money, and it's going to go bust.